In 2015, Bentley released this, the Bentayga, to really rival the Range Rover. Fast forward 10 years and it's established itself as one of the most luxurious SUVs you can buy on the market today. And over the years, Bentley has offered a few different engine layouts, such as the W12, the V8 petrol, the hybrid, and even this, the diesel, which doesn't really make sense. Or does it? Well, we're going to find out. I'm Max Ottavani. Welcome to Driven Plus. In 2016, for the first time ever, you could buy a diesel Bentley. Never in its history has that happened. You can't buy one of these anymore because they stopped making them in 2020. But what an absolute powerhouse of an engine this is. 4-litre V8 pushing out 429 horsepower and, are you ready, 900 Newton meters of torque. And this is the same engine found in the Audi SQ7 and the Porsche Panamera 4S. Top speed, 167 miles per hour, and Bentley say it'll do 0 to 60 time of 4.6 seconds. So let's find out. Now, the last time I launched this engine, it was in the Porsche Panamera 4S, and Porsche stated that car would do a 0 to 60 time of 4.3 seconds, but we got half a second quicker. Is it going to be the same case with this? Well, I'd like to think so, but it's a heavy car. As you can see on your screen now, it weighs in at 2.5 tons. Now, this car does not have launch control, but what I've done is put it in sport mode, turn the traction off, and I'm going to build up the boost and see what it does. It is wet outside, by the way. All strong. We're going to get 5.29 seconds. That's a good time already. Let's go for run number 2. There we go. Pull strong this. What are we going to get? 5.36. So we can't match Bentley's 4.6 second claim time, but it's wet outside, so if conditions were perfect, remember it's a heavy car, would maybe match it. But there we go, back to the review. Come to the inside of the car, and the first thing which catches your eye is the finish. It just is impeccable. Like even the door card here is the leather stitching. It's beautiful with the chrome handles. Everything works hand in hand with the piano black finish as well. It's very elegant in here, which is what you'd expect. It's got a Bentley badge. Talking of the steering wheel, again, that's really nice, the use of chrome. And looks very Audi-like, and the switches as well. That is because it is from an Audi. Do I like that? Well, I don't know, but they are part of the Volkswagen Audi group. You've got your nice Bentley clock there, which is always a nice touch. And your 8-inch infotainment screen, which is pretty easy to use. And here you got your gear stick. And your gear stick's finished off in the leather and chrome. It's all the use of materials, again, finishes is brilliant. You've got a nice big storage box going under the center console there, which is nice and grippy as well. Good place to put your phone. 2 cup holders there, and behind here you got your rotary dials, and you can see here you got your drive dynamics, which is your sport, Bentley mode, comfort, and custom. And here you can change the air suspension height as well. Now behind there is your center console box, which isn't a bad size. You got your 2 USB and an aux lead there. And the seats, look at this, you can adjust these headrests so you can really fit snug into them and go to sleep. Not when you're driving though, if you're sat on the passenger seat maybe. But again, the cross-stitch leather and the Bentley badge there, it's a nice touch with the chrome bit going around there. It's a beautiful place to be, especially with the panoramic sunroof as well. Yeah, you could go in for hours and get out feeling refreshed. Now the price of these now you can pick up for around 60 to 70,000 pounds, and you're going to think, well, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is, especially when you compare it to the same model year Range Rover. However, these hold their value much better. There's less of them, and if I was to be honest, you're probably going to break down less often too, my opinion. Now I have to admit, I am a fan of the design of the Bentley Bentayga, but I've heard mixed opinions, so let me know what you think of the design in the comments. As we look into the boot, the owner has a dog, as you can see, 484 litres, which is a pretty decent size, and you can bring the suspension down and lift it up. It's got a tow bar as well, so good for towing. It's got a huge engine. And I think one thing I do miss is a split tailgate, but is it much of a problem? I don't think so. Now, with it being diesel, you'd think, well, it's going to sound rubbish, right? Wrong. This has been touched by Quicksilver exhausts, and it means it now sounds something like this. So this is the first and only Bentley to have a diesel engine. So what do I think about that? Well, it's like combining a fish and chip shop with a Chinese takeout. On paper it looks weird, but in reality it works very well. And it's the same with this. I've always believed diesel engines make sense in an SUV because they produce good torque, which inevitably makes it good for towing. And I think this makes more sense to drive for your day-to-day commute rather than the W12, and this is where the diesel comes in. You won't have to stop for fuel as much, which is actually quite a bit of a selling point. Now, you wouldn't expect anything less for the Bentley Bentayga to have air suspension, and don't worry, it's definitely got air suspension. So how does it ride? Yeah, it's super smooth, it does glide over the road. You can feel the bumps ever so slightly, but that's thanks to it being on big, low-profile 22-inch alloy wheels. How does it ride compared to a Range Rover? I think it rides just as good, if I was to be honest. Now, when we play with the rotary dial down here, we're going to put the car in sport mode, and we're going to test out the cornering capabilities of the Bentayga. We've got some good corners coming up here. Now, for a car that weighs 2.5 tons, first of all, the car, it feels quite stable in a corner. The suspension does a good job at keeping it stable. It's got active anti-roll bars as well, so that's going to help. But I think, for me, the steering wheel is a bit too light given the size of the car. You want a bit of weight there, you want a bit of engagement, and for me it's too light. But in terms of what it's actually like, I think it holds itself very nice in a corner. But let's be honest, this car's been designed for ultimate refinement, not to be driven hard. But you'll be glad to know, if you wanted to open the taps, she can certainly do it. And I think Bentley's got the driving position spot on this car. The way you sit on the road is pretty much perfect, really comfortable. And there's nothing better seeing a profile of a bonnet when you're driving. That central line is just mega to look at. It makes you feel grand. And the fact that it's a diesel as well, and one benefit of it being diesel is good torque. And when you have good torque, it delivers you an effortless drive. All you have to do is feather the throttle and you get going with ease. And when you put your foot all the way down, oh, she pulls like a train. 900 Newton meters of it. And I think another place where Bentley have smashed this car is the cabin noise. Okay, there's a little bit of noise coming from the tyres, but you're going to get that naturally in pretty much any car. But the engine noise is kept to a minimum. The wind noise, external noises, hardly any, thanks to having double glazed windows and really good insulation. So Bentley, you've done really well there. And let's be honest with ourselves here, the main reason you buy the diesel over the W12 is fuel economy, and there will be a huge difference between a V8 diesel and a W12 petrol. And I reset the clocks before I started doing this test, and we've been averaging 28 to the gallon. And I haven't even been doing motorway mileage, I haven't set the cruise control, I've just been driving it. It's a bit hilly, and I think that's fantastic, given the size of the car, given the weight. In terms of when you're going to compare it to the W12, it's going to beat it all day long. So if you're contemplating one, I would recommend one. It ticks a lot of boxes, it's refined, it's comfortable, looks good, not bad on fuel. But when you compare it to the same model year Range Rover, there's a premium to pay. But if you can get over that, at the end of the day, remember, you're sat in a Bentley, not in a Range Rover. I know which one I'd rather be sat in. Now I'd like to say a massive thanks to Terry and Jill for lending me this car to get this review on. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you soon for our next review. Thank you guys, see you soon.